Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
How was the weekend?
Oh, good. Bad weather, many books. Quarantine time.
Wonderful.
He's great too. Better weather. I not think to São Paulo it's a good weather. Always raining. Reading a lot too.
And Felipe had like a long weekend, right?
Yeah, I had a week off. First time in a long time. Yeah, a big 10-day weekend. It was really good.
How was it, man? Were you able to rest enough, like to come back recharged, or the many years without a break are still there?
I'm good enough. Like I could rest more, but I can also start working again. It was pretty good. I was at my mother's, we had some house with space and grass and dogs and pool. So bad internet, but everything else was great, and we stayed there since Christmas. So it was a big season. I hadn't done that. I hadn't stayed outside of home for that long in a quite long time, since I was a teenager, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. So because of the lockdown, we didn't go anywhere else. We just stayed there for a long time. So it was really good. I played a lot with friends. Like we stayed online playing games a lot of time. It was my job for the week. Yeah, I didn't think about the company. I removed Slack from my quick access toolbar. It made a lot of difference. And yeah, just saw the emails coming, just started them, did nothing. It was really good.
That's awesome. That's actually a great topic for our conversation, because we are building a company that up to a few weeks ago or a few months ago, at least, at most, depended heavily on the owners on a day-to-day, right? And both of us had the chance, for different reasons, to stay out of the office for a while, and things kept working without us. And we have a great team, great leadership processes. And I think we should celebrate this together with Victor and Larusso here, because they're part of this.
For sure.
It was like a long effort towards being able not to be present the day-to-day of the company, at least for a week or a month in my case. And cheers, guys. Cheers. Let's celebrate this.
Yeah, really awesome.
Do you feel like more comfortable to take a rest nowadays?
I do, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's the problem with building a company from scratch and bootstrapping it is, I think, of course, we could have done things differently and made sure we could bring leadership to the team earlier, or there were things we could have done earlier, I think. But also there's the bootstrapping element. When you're bootstrapping a company, you need to create the cash to be able to bring more leadership to the company. So there is a period where you're constructing, like yourself, the owners are building things, and a lot of things that depend on you are created. I don't think we are, both Felipe and I, we are not delegators by nature. We had and still have to learn how to delegate and how to not try to solve the problems ourselves, and instead find the right people to do it. But even when you are a great delegator, there is the initial years of a company, or the initial phase of a company, where it depends on the owners, especially a bootstrapped company. And it's a very important milestone when the company really doesn't depend on the owners as much anymore. And I'm really, really glad we reached that point. And I trust so much the team we have that I'm very comfortable resting more.
And there's the element of maturity, because we didn't know, in order to lead without being the owner, you need to know the direction, right? You need resources to be able, you need autonomy. And at least I didn't know enough, or I didn't feel like I knew enough, like how to orient. Like right now, both of you have leadership positions, like in different levels, but you do, right? And we have lots of other leaders. First, well, of course, we need the cash to be able to afford these leaders. And leaders not only in the sense of being people who are hiring and training and leading teams, but people who are seasoned and who have the experience to be like the wild card that can go anywhere, that can figure out what needs to be done, right? That's expensive, and it should be, because those are scarce and valuable skills. And that kind of person, like, there are of course, making decisions is part of day-to-day. But 1 year ago, we didn't have either the cash or the clarity to be able to pay someone well and say, go, do your thing and make your decisions. And like, we have to say, okay, this is the direction we want to go. Not there. It can be somewhere here, in here, you know. And today we are starting to build that, at least on the production side.
Yeah, no, and I think we're building that not only on the production side of the company, the business end is definitely developing it. Just there are a few positions that are centralized in myself at this moment, but they are not day-to-day positions. You can take a break from those positions every once in a while.
Felipe, I have a question. Not a question, but most on a thought or something like that. We have a new year, new projects, new challenges, and you guys were talking about like vision, directions. We have really good clients with this vision, with this direction. But for me, I think it's special when you have the vision, but it's not a vision just for you. You have the possibility to share your vision and to turn this vision on a project, on a product, on a value. And we know that it's really hard. That's really, really, really hard. And you are guys like working on that like for 10 years maybe, because I don't think it's just about the season. I think it's a life project to be here and to build this tangible vision. Like I'm a designer, so I'm always thinking about how I can take this idea and make a really good product and create a really good product. And I want to hear about like what you're planning about that, about your vision, about the challenges to have not just with the team, but with the client.
Yeah, it's interesting because what aligned Felipe and I to work together is much more centered on how we want things to be than exactly what we want to achieve. And of course, why is behind it all. So I'm going to try and describe my vision for the house first. And then maybe the what we can dive into them as well. But I want to separate, because first we have, how do we want the company to be? How do we want to influence other people, and et cetera, et cetera. Right now, what I'm looking for is a very specialized company that solves a very unique problem in a very unique way, with the most well-defined client-based and target audiences as possible, which is what we've been looking for the whole time, but getting our offer fitting a narrower and narrower type of client and problem. With that, we can create more value to be more creative on how do we solve that problem, because it's easy to think about specialization and think about Chaplin's movie, like I don't remember the name of the movie. Anyone? Chaplin's
Modern
movie
Times.
about Modern Times. Yeah, like you're creating so much specialization that you have people act like robots. Maybe I can summarize the vision like creating a very specialized offer, very, very, very specialized offer, so we can do the opposite of Modern Times. We can automate whatever we need and use our creativity to solve this specialized issue. I don't know if I was too broad in my description. Maybe examples might come handy, but does it make any sense what I'm talking?
And for me, it was really great to hear, because we kind of are building a specialized company with really generalist solve problem designer thinkers. Like we can be so specialized professionals because we have a lot of different kinds of problems to solve. But our company are going to be specialized. It's really
but I think there is a direction we're definitely heading, and I think that was a conversation Felipe and I had. The last conversation we had around this was we want to specialize so much in the same target audience, the same problem, that the solution becomes tedious for creative people. And we want that. We don't want you to need to work with so much difference between projects. With that being said, the goal of making it tedious is not so we become like code monkeys or design monkeys or whatever monkeys, is so that we can automate whatever we need that is a repetitive task. And I'm not talking about creating product, client-facing product. I'm not talking about Season becoming a product company. I'm talking about using automation to provide a better service. Everything that becomes tedious and repetitive needs to, 1, be automated. 2, if it is not automated, needs to be like training wheels for people who are wanting to get to another place. We, for example, in our marketing efforts, every day I connect with 3 founders I found on AngelList and 3 founders I found on Co-Founders Lab, for example, just to build my network. This is something that could be automated, but imagine it couldn't. This could be an entry-level position, and then people could grow into other things. I think the only reason we had, how can I say, but this specialization that led to humans working on repetitive tasks is because we didn't have enough technology. And I'm talking about the Industrial Revolution and early 20th century stuff to transcend that. And one vision for Season is to transcend that through specialization and repetitive jobs. Because once we do something that's repetitive, and specialized, we can increase the margins of this transaction, because this is generating a lot of value at a lower cost, because the value is in the methodology that created the repetitive task and not the task itself. And then we generate more resources. And with those resources, we can invest in innovating at this repetitive task. Maybe we will remove it altogether in the future, because we'll be always innovating. So it's like a factory that's always reinventing itself. Something like
an
that.
organism.
Yes. But I'm trying to use the metaphor of a factory because of the modern times. But it's more of an organism.
Something really important on it, that's like letting the meaningful work to the people and all the other kind of work to the machines.
Yeah, and there are many more levels in this, right? Because automating, we can be talking about processes. Simply something that now, before it was a custom message or custom email, now we have a form, right? So you don't have to think about it, our hiring process. You don't have to think about it. You have a form, you fill there. It's when you do a hire, that's it. And there are many more levels, right? So someone in an entry, like Daniel said, someone in an entry position needs that repetitive tasks, maybe to learn, to do something, to have a skill, to develop a skill. Then they can start mixing something more original. There will be areas in the company where no one knows how to do that stuff. Usually that's where we, the partners, will throw ourselves and figure it out. And then bring someone else when it's more ready, like when there's less risk or less
better defined.
When it's better defined, like, okay, we have to solve a overseas payment process or a whole contract legal stuff, or maybe we just start hiring even for those unknowns. But
you read my thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, there are many levels of where the creativity goes, what are the profiles of people, what's the level where, okay, someone is good and wants to keep doing. How much of design is really creative if you're already used to doing product design from scratch? For someone who never done that, who has done that 5 times, doing 10 more times is excellent. For you, it's 1 more, right? So it depends on the view. It depends a lot of things, like what's the boring stuff. But yeah, that's the general direction.
And I think there is other parts of the vision that are important to mention, which is we want a company whose clients do not have a bureaucracy in place yet, or at least a strong bureaucracy in place. And that, in our case, it translates immediately in working directly with the company's founders, and that has been from the start requirement for the clients we work with. We never wanted to work unless we were working directly with the founders of a company. But again, since Felipe and I connected so much on how we want to do things before we connected on what things we wanted to do, the how is we don't want bureaucracy to be slowing us down, and we want to feel, and I think that's more important than the bureaucracy. It's good that we're refining this idea. We want to feel the value of what we're doing in real time, and that's part of the vision for sure, to keep that.
My point of view, if we are working really close company founders, we are probably doing really valuable work, because otherwise they will just delegate it, or it's not something that really matters for them.
Of course, it depends the level. Sometimes they might trust us so much that they would delegate to us and just not be so close with us and still be very, very valuable. But we would feel the value in real time, and they would, of course, they would need to at least follow up on the work closely.
Or maybe in other words, if we are working directly with founders, we are probably closer to the core of the other company.
Yep.
And generating tons of value.
Yeah, and seeing it in real time, because I don't want to fall into the fallacy of believing that if you're not working closely with founders or higher ups, you're not generating so much value, because it's not true. It's definitely not true. But we are feeling the value. We are experiencing the value generation in a first degree. It's not through other layers, and that's what works for me. It's not and I know it's what worked for every one of us, because that's part of what brought us together. But it's not a value judgment on if it's better or worse to work directly to experience firsthand the value. I think the indirect value that we generate, sometimes it's even more value. It's just, I came to understand that I need this direct experience to be fulfilled in my life.
There's something more like, I think the who are hiring us, who we are working together, the companies are hiring us, they don't want just one more project, just one website, or just one more product. Like, no, they don't. They really want to create a really new project who will generate a lot of value. So how can you generate a lot of value without the founder? I think for me it's like that. Like, it's not just more, okay, contract them, pay them, they're going to give us some value, and that's okay. No. Usually it's not about that. The founders have really a lot of love about this project, about the project.
We are a big bet for them.
Yeah, and that's also part of the vision of the company. So far, when we're describing the vision, we talked about first ultra specialization in terms of working with similar clients, solving similar problems, and with that generating more innovation. And then we're talking about experience directly the results of our work, the value we generate by working directly with founders. And we want to be at the core of what they're doing. Like, usually we are the biggest bet in a client. It's not, I don't know if it is 100% that, but I think it's almost 100% that. We are usually the biggest cost, at least 50-50. Sometimes we have marketing together with technology, but we are the biggest risk if our project does not work, the company does not work. And yeah, that's part of the vision, because when Felipe and I got together, we wanted to provide premium services. We wanted to provide world-class service. And I think this strategy, and I want to Felipe to talk more about it, because he's studied it a lot, is a strategy where you think, how can I just do my absolute best and provide the absolute most value we can to one type of client. And the word type is very important, because you cannot provide the absolute best you could if you're working with multiple types of clients, because you need to learn more how to best provide service. So it's like real high-end service with real specialization. Want to elaborate on premium services, sure. Felipe?
Yes, like, one thing that we both wanted was to work with service. For some reason, I don't actually know why, but we wanted. That's what we wanted. We wanted to provide service, period.
It's our contrarian truth.
Why not?
It's our contrarian truth. We believe service is more valuable than product. I do, at least. And
that's not the shortest path to riches, not at all. That's not like, even when we talk about investment risks, and instead of bootstrapping, raising a lot of money, and then the company can sink. But if you see what happens with the founders who sunk the company, usually they end up with more cash than they had before. Usually, not always. Sometimes they can go bust too. But so for some reason, we wanted to provide services and to bootstrap this. Once we decided that, we knew a few other things like this model of offering premium, because if you're going to provide service and one client pays the company's bills, it's more interesting than needing 100 clients just to keep afloat. But it also means that you have a bigger exposure to these few clients, and you need to provide a lot of attention, like a lot of attention. But for some strange reason, both Daniel and I really like that idea. Also don't know why, we just did. So that's something that matched our lifestyles, I think. And this model has its challenges. Like if you try to generalize, to be generic in our full attention, you're screwed, because it's really hard. And the only way to give good attention to a lot of people is if you really know what attention they need and when, and you specialize in that. So that's what we've been building from day one. We created this concept of the wow emerged. I don't remember how or when, but it became our truth. And that the wow is this translation of this. What is the maximum level of value we can provide and how to these kinds of clients? So at some point it was delivering products really fast. We did that. Then it became give daily attention. We give that. We gave them that. And it's also always transforming. The side effects of those decisions are, for example, that we are cash flow positive from day one. We never needed outside investment. And we never needed more than a few clients to be afloat. Not profitable, but afloat, yeah.
I would say profitable, because it's only that we reinvest in real time.
Yeah, exactly.
That it's not necessarily very much profitable, but we are if we separate what's investment from what's operational costs, we are profitable from day one.
Yeah, then we get into a whole discussion about extra capacity and operational costs, but it's also interesting. But yeah, with the traditional efficiency vision that you need the minimum to deliver that, and then the rest is profit. Yeah,
that's how most people measure, right? Just using
in that
the
sense,
standard measure.
Very profitable. Yeah.
I was thinking about why did I want to provide service and not create a product. And in the past, I've answered a lot about the characteristics of the relationships with clients, a more intimate relationship versus more weak link relationships with multiple clients where you don't know them personally, et cetera, et cetera. But I think at the core of the experience of deciding to work with service and premium service is what I learned from you, Felipe, that when you try to create a community or an audience or a clientele that's receiving good value, but not the best value you could offer them, there is a percentage of that community that wants more, that wants all you have, all you could offer. And it just made me realize that when I was doing this in communities, I was trying to offer that subgroup as much as I could, but I was spread too thin because I had the bigger community to take care of, the one where I wasn't providing premium services. And then this was not a sustainable way of working with people. I had a good service. I might say a great service, but at a mid-level in terms of the ticket, in terms of the value. And I still had the demand for more value, for more attention, the demand for more. And I still had to deal with that demand. And I had to choose between, okay, I'm just gonna shut this off and focus on the mid layer, which was where the design of the companies were, or I could should give them what they need, but offer a premium service and charge for a premium service. And that conflict, in my experience, led me to saying no to those who needed more and wanted more. I was trying to shut them off because I wanted to keep providing the standard mid-tier service I was providing, while it was really hard to create a sustainable marketing model for the mid-tier service. Really hard. I needed from time to time to reinvent my marketing funnels because they stopped, the things that were working stopped working, etc., etc. Once Felipe told me about the idea of building your funnel from top to bottom, starting with the most premium offers, and he actually told me about this idea. In every community, there will be around 10% of people who wanted much more than you are able to give right now. If you just redesigned your services to focus on those 10% and provide the absolute best you can for them and charge accordingly, you would be able even to finance the development of the other layers of your funnel, but from bottom to top and not from top to bottom. Somehow this felt like myself. It's not that one is better than the other, but I felt comfortable at this place. I was 100% of the time where I was trying to shut the people who wanted more off. I really wanted to give more to them. I really, really, really wanted to give more to them. But I couldn't because the model didn't allow me. And that for me is part of the inception for the model we have.
Victor's brewing something.
Yeah, I see that. Like
I'm trying. Yeah, I like it. I like that. I was going to change. Not change because we are talking about like premium service. But I think like Daniel said, like almost all clients work with products and we work with service. But now for me, it's like really challenging because what is service, what is product? And it's really hard to say like if a digital product, it's not a service. It's rarely like it's almost impossible now to have this. And I really think this connects with what you were talking about this premium service. Because in this low level of service, we are going not to see through the challenge for a digital product. And when you are just offering just one service, okay, let's go. No, we need to be to the premium because we need to see through the next years. From the like 2-3 years, and we need to always change our process, always try new things in this. I really liked about the Tejas, creative Tejas. Maybe like we can call that like a creative Tejas creative. For design, it's a really good thought for me, like a good concept. How can we make our design really Tejas, because we are going to have a lot of time, money, brain to work in the next thing, like for the clients, for our companies. So for me, it's really kind of connected. The premium service, now digital products, almost everything is a service because like you can sell just one time, but you're going always selling a service through a product. And I was thinking about that.
Yeah, and my goal is to make the distinction between the two inexistent. There are companies like Zappos. Initially, you might think as a product company because they have the technology and they sell shoes, etc., etc. But they are delivering it through service. So it's in their case, it is a service company that happens to sell shoes. I think that's what Tony Hsieh used to say about it. And there are the opposite. There are service companies that seem to provide a very personalized experience, where behind the scenes it's all automated. Like there are both. And the difference between a service company and a product company for me is a difference of mindset, a difference of strategy, and a difference of bet. What are you betting on? It's more like that. Usually people who position themselves as a product company are betting on getting really big really fast. That's why they cannot add as many layers of service around their product as some other people would. And people who define themselves as a service company are betting on, I don't know how to say, but doing the things that the products company cannot do, which is like providing the unique experience, the actual unique experience.
Building a relationship with your customer. I think it's really the difference. Maybe I really like the product mindset and the service mindset. I like that. Yeah. Now I understand.
When we are talking about service companies, mostly caring about more touch points between them and the clients than just the product and just the use.
And I think it makes a lot of sense, the relationship part you bring, Victor, because product companies, the mindset, a client, of course, it's not always that. It's only that when on the extreme, but a client on a product company can be a number, like can be a statistic, can be a metric, while in a service company, it's the opposite. It's a relationship, and you actually have to work to make this relationship a metric and not the other way around. I think that's a good rule of thumb. Product companies have to work to turn a metric into a relationship, and service companies have to work to turn a relationship into metrics. Both are necessary. Metrics and relationships are necessary, but when you have the distinction between the two, maybe this is a way of thinking about them. In the long term, I think I want us to be in the middle, like be a service company that has a lot of product in it.
An example of the premium service financing other layers is like even this content. We are not only now, after 3 years, we are putting out tons of content to non-technical founders, and what's making that viable is the premium service. Of course, it also helps with the service, the system, the ecosystem. It's everything a part of an ecosystem, but now we can reach more people and we can provide service in the form of content for way more people. And we are not like selling our houses to be able to do that, and in a bet that maybe it will give returns in a couple of years. Like, we are here, we're making everything. And who knows, maybe later we can provide a less premium service at a lower cost. Maybe we can branch out after having one type of client. We can branch out to another type of client with the same company or even with another company, and then provide that premium service to another type of client, or providing to the same type of client in a different stage, a different kind of service. Like there are layers of service, right? Do it for them, do it with them, teach them how to do, show them how to do it, teach them how to do it. So there are different levels that we can work on and play around.
Yeah, and I like that you talked about, instead of a less premium service, a different type of premium service at the end, because I don't think we will want at this. I don't think I will want to create a less premium service, a less premium version of the same service. What I probably want is a less expensive premium service that's designed for people at another stage, just like Felipe said.
Exactly.
So when when we think of our funnel of offers developing from bottom to top, I think we're getting really good after 3 years at the bottom part of the funnel. And we don't even have the second tier yet. And we probably will have a second tier in a couple of years. I don't know. I don't know when, but not in 2021. We're still gonna be here after 4 years by the end of 2021. 4 years working on one tier. So that's how patient we have to be. But when I'm operating, I'm always having the vision of once we nail this, we can do this, the following, and then the following one, then the following one, and then who knows, the top of the funnel product might be, who knows, a training program,
a book,
a book, whatever. But we chose the path that apparently requires more patience because it's deliberately slower. The reason I said apparently is because if you try to create a funnel from the top to bottom, the funnel will break so many times in your cycle that it will require patience and investment as well. But it will generate, I wouldn't say less cash, because if you do it right, it can generate a lot of cash by selling to a lot of people, less expensive items. But it in the long run, it will require more patience, because this less expensive item you sold, the very fact that it is less expensive makes it more copyable also. So you're going to have to adapt your strategy if you're building from top to bottom of the funnel. You're going to have to adapt your strategy if you're building from bottom up. We just happen to prefer the second option.
And it's that good part of having a really good vision, because you can be patient because you know where you're going. You're going to have like a really challenging path. You're going to do a lot of mistakes, but when you have this vision, then you can change your strategy to go through this vision. This is really good to hear and to know that we have a direction, we have a way. Maybe we don't know like right.
Yeah, we don't know the turns we're gonna take, but we are being guided by a vision. And one other aspect that's very important, we definitely are being guided by a vision, but we need to feel good about our present. The reason I can be patient, I would say it's 50-50. 50% because I have a vision. 50%, and because I have a vision, I can be patient. 50% because my day to day was great. My work day was awesome. I'm working with wonderful people, and I'm seeing results today. I'm not only waiting for the future. So it's a balance between the two that allows, at least for me, allows me to be patient.
I don't even make the distinction. Like, I didn't even remember that this way of working could be called vision. It's just what I do. So I even remember I better talk about this to about all other leaders, because they might not know if I never talk about it. It might be a good idea. I just take it for granted. It's just like, it's how I work, of course. So, and for me, the feeling good day to day is the feedback mechanism that tells me that, yes, that's the path. So I don't even make this distinction. It's all the same thing. It's good to remember.
Yeah.
I have to talk more about that.
Awesome, guys. I really love that we were able to dive deep today in vision.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, bro.